Dr. Amy Sapola, Director of Pharmacy with an F at the Chef's Garden. Today I'm making a celery root remoulade. Celery root is also known as celeriac, and you can find it in the fall, like late fall and winter months. Celery root is not the prettiest thing you've ever seen. It can be a little bit intimidating to even know where to start with it. So I wanted to show you basically how I break it down. So I would wash this first, and then don't even bother with a peeler because it's a little bit too much to go at with a potato peeler. So I just use a sharp knife and just peel off the skin so that you get a nice even cut, and just remove the bumpy parts. I then take this skin actually and I throw it into a stock. So I like to use all the vegetable scraps in the kitchen and either throw them in a freezer bag, or I just throw them, like if I have a pot going on my stove, I'll throw them right in there. So once you would have this all peeled up, you can then use either a food processor to cut it, which I did, and I'll show you the blade I used. This blade, and you just cut this into about 4 pieces and run it through the food processor. You can also use a mandolin if you have a mandolin with like a matchstick blade on it, or just use your knife and cut it into matchsticks. So either way is just fine. Some people use mayonnaise. I personally don't care for mayonnaise, so I like to use Greek yogurt. Greek yogurt's high in protein, and it's a really nice substitute. You could certainly use a vegan mayonnaise or vegan yogurt if you prefer. So I put in about 1/3 cup of Greek yogurt. This is a tablespoon of Dijon mustard. And then these pickles are super special. So these are garlicky dill pickles, and we did a collaboration with Wake Robin. We created pickles with our cucumbers that they fermented for us. So these are really, really garlicky, but they are so good. If you love garlic, they're perfect. And fermented foods are so good for digestive health. I'm gonna go ahead and just stir this together. It was about 1/4 cup of pickles. Then I'm adding, this is a vegan cream, but you can use regular cream as well. So just a little bit of cream. You can actually use any herbs you have on hand that are similar to parsley. I'm going to use the tops of carrots today because that's what I have in my kitchen today. Carrots are in the same family as celery root, so really great flavor, and it's just a nice way to use the carrot tops and not waste them. So I'll just mix that in. And then I'll just start mixing in our celery root. If you make this ahead, the celery root, I kept it submerged in water with a little bit of lemon juice just to keep it from turning brown. Once it's mixed in the dressing though, it should be just fine. And this makes a great, really fresh side dish. In the winter, sometimes we miss that freshness or brightness of spring, but the mustard in here and the celery root, so with its crunch, because it's not even cooked, it's shaved raw. So the celery root with its freshness and its crunch really makes a nice bright side dish. It can be a good accompaniment to things that are a little heavier, like if you have like a duck or steak. Interestingly, the celery root itself has some medicinal uses too. So celery root can be juiced, and the juice is used for diuretic, which means it gets rid of water in the body, as well as laxative effects. These celery roots are actually grown just for the roots. You don't eat the stalks off of these, but they're in the same family. I don't necessarily recommend juicing your celery root, although I did say there are some medicinal uses. It's really much better consumed whole with the fiber and all the other nutrients. It's really a nice way to enjoy celery root. So we'll go ahead and add just a little bit of a garnish to this. This is, again, just the carrot tops. And then these are some plumped up mustard seeds. These mustard seeds were cooked in vinegar with a little bit of maple syrup and salt, and they're cooked for about 40 minutes. with vinegar and water, and they have a nice pop to them. So we'll just add those on top. All right, so there's our celery root remoulade. I'm Dr. Amy Sapola. Thank you for joining me in my home today. If you'd like to find this recipe and more, please visit us on farmerjonesfarm.com, or you can find us on YouTube.